Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. This week's program is a continuation of last week. As I told you last week, this is the second part that someone asked the Rebbe, why are we in Golus so long? And I would suggest to listen to the previous program first. Now this is the Rebbe, this is not the derech of Chabad Bichlal. The Rebbe always speaks positive. This program, this is from a letter, also from a sikha from the early years of the Rebbe. And the Rebbe says that usually the Frierdiker Rebbe always looked at positive when he spoke. So he also wants to do, but the Rebbe says, I feel that I have to say this. So I'm telling you this ahead of time. This is based, he wrote this to someone, based on a sikha of Erev Shavuos Tovshin Lamed Vov, and also Simcha B'S HaSheva Tovshin Tazayin. And here, that's what it's written there. The Rebbe says that there is Sibas HaGolus and there is Arichas HaGolus. What's the cause of Golus? Our Golus. Sinas Chinam, jealousy, Koved. This is the Sibas why we're in Golus today. But the Rebbe says, Baruch Hashem, Yidden are Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim. Yidden care about each other. We see Yidden care about each other. We see people, Yidden give a lot of tzedakah, help one another. So why are we in Golus till now? So the Rebbe says, there is Arichas HaGolus. Why is the Golus so long? So the Rebbe says, I'm just repeating, and this is not spoken about often, because of Shmiras Habris, not cautious with sexual desires, Chatas Neurim. Because how much he writes, impurity is involved in this sin. And the Rebbe calls it the sin of the youth. People should be cautious we should be cautious with our eyes. Not to look what you're not supposed to. Because ayin roya, the eye sees, and the heart desires. The Rebbe brings down from Rabbi Yossi, he was a Saginor, he was blind, and as a matter of fact, he made himself blind, even though you're not allowed to harm your body, which is another discussion which I'm not going to talk about today. The Rebbe speaks about it, but this is not to see things that you're not allowed to, because that will bring the Yetzer Hara. They say also, the Rebbe doesn't say it here, that the Chayze in Lublin, he was called Chayze. He was blind. He became blind. He sat in the dark, so he shouldn't come to Machshavas. So when we know the cause of why we're the Arichas HaGolus, why is the Golus so long? It's easier to do tshuva. Now, before I continue what the Rebbe says further, I want to say something. And it's only my opinion, and I might be 100% wrong. But I think maybe. I remember this year, Yud Aleph Nisan, there was on Zoom 24 hours. People spoke, the Kovet Rebbe's Yom Haledes, and we were all wondering what the Rebbe said ich habe alles abgetan und jetzt verlasse ich sich auf euch. Jetzt tut, was ihr könnt. I did everything. And people were wondering, why is the Mashiach here already? The Rebbe put so much keiches. Why is the Mashiach here? This one says because of his kashrus. This one says because we have to learn more Rambam, which they're all right. This one says you have to learn more Torah. This one says you have to not speak in davening. Everybody's right. But I think one thing was not mentioned. Be careful with your eyes. And when the Rebbe says, ich habe alles abgetan, the Rebbe did. The Rebbe didn't leave one thing. Everything to bring Mashiach. But now, he relies on us. The one thing the Rebbe cannot do is to fix the Aveira of Chatas Naurim. That everyone has to do themselves. Everything else the Rebbe did, but certain things, do tshuva on that we have to do. I'm just thinking myself. Now let's go back to what the Rebbe wrote. When people claim that they have no hatzlacha in limud HaTorah, or they have problems from children, you have to be clean, from the opposite of tahara. The sin of wasteful seeds. Chatas Nurim. And Jews have to know that the Torah Utfilah the Jews are busy with and the going out of exile is totally depends in the Tikkun Chet HaYidua. To rectify that, everyone has within their power to rectify that sin. And even though we need tshuva atzuma, the Rebbe writes, some people might think that it's not easy to rectify such a terrible sin. Tshuva atzuma means the great repentance. But we can do it, the Rebbe says, b'shaita choda uveriga choda, in an instant. And through rectifying this sin, it becomes yisrein ha'oir mitoich ha'choshech. The light becomes from darkness. And they appreciate the light. And people should not worry that it's hard. Tshuva, the Eibishter, berega choda, and this is the Arichas Hagolos. It's not a usual thing that Chabad should speak about it, but I'm saying basically on the Rebbe. Now, the order to rectify this sin is number one, Chassidim, Yidden, you should go to the mikveh. Also watch yourself in the bris haloshen. Guard your tongue. And that will bring light. But without, as the Alter Rebbe says, not morish chayre, not serious and sadness. And after you rectify that, from then on, you should be careful all the time. Saying what the Rebbe says, your machshava, your thoughts, your speech, and your deeds. And this all has to be b'simcha g'dayla. This is what the Rebbe says. That's it. Now, I never heard these words from by Fabringen, or lecturing, or speaking, mashpiyim, or teachers. I never heard these kind of words. I don't know why, but this is something that should be spoken, and especially if this is me'akiv de geula, this should be spoken. Everyone in their way. We never think about speaking about this. In other words, Bachrim, young light, that they go out into the world, do the Rebbe's work. They have to be careful not to look at billboards and not to look at things that you're not allowed to look. There has to be spoken. You can do all good things, but it has to be, the eyes has to be protected. And the Rebbe mentions, and this Rebbe based on a Sikha, that there are two people that were called tzaddikim. Yosef HaTzaddik and Mordechai HaTzaddik. Why? Why not Rabbi Akiva HaTzaddik? Rabbi HaTzaddik? Why dafke these two? Because by them it says the word Yom Yom. Their test, their nisoyin was daily. And the Rebbe brings down there that Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, they were tested, they went through. But if it would happen every day, we don't know whether they'll be able to overcome that. But by Mordechai and by Yosef HaTzaddik was every day. So when Yosef HaTzaddik, the story with Potiphar, the wife of Potiphar, as everybody learned the Torah and they know the whole story. How did he overcome his test? Because he saw the image of Yaakov Avinu, his father. Yaakov Avinu, it says that his first seed, Koichi V'Roshis Oini, was when he was 84 years old, when Reuven was born. So when he saw his image and he saw Yaakov, that by till 84 years old, this was his first seed. This is what prevented him of doing an Aveda. And by the way, Pidyon Haben, why Pidyon? First of all, Pidyon is paid down at 84. And when it says when a person is by a Pidyon Haben, if he goes to people go to Pidyon Haben, that takes away 84 fast days that you have to fast on that sin. 84 fast days. So when we do tshuva and that sin, we're cautious with our eyes, that's for sure that will bring the Geula Shleima, that will bring Mashiach. And since we are getting closer to Mashiach, so now this is a me'ain. Now we are, like the Rebbe says, this is the heel of Mashiach, a me'ain of Mashiach. And it says, well, Mashiach will come on a donkey. Mashiach will open V'ro Kol Basar. Everyone will see the Eibishter. Everyone will see godliness. So now we should be a taste of Mashiach since we're so close to Mashiach. So this is what it says, that the bris milah takes away the taivus of everything, and that's why it says Dafki Mashiach will come on a donkey, because it says in Sforim that to cure a baby bris milah is through the waist of a donkey. So since we are getting closer to Mashiach now, so we should realize that the Rebbe says, open up your eyes, means that when Mashiach will come, we'll have open eyes. So we should be zoiche very soon to the coming of Mashiach, and we should do tshuva and then miyad hein nigolim right away. Thank you.